Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
Production.
7 Mile Radio.
Peace, peace, peace. What's going on? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all the social media platforms was really, really good. You are here live with me today on Revolutionary Wealth Builders on 7 Mile Radio. Today we are going to have a magnificent show, a magnificent dialogue regarding real estate, all things real estate. So what do you know about real estate? As you can see, I'm rocking this fire fedora today with some cold-blooded sunglasses. So, I mean, rate my hat and rate my sunglasses. What do you think about it? I mean, does this look work for me? I woke up this morning on something completely different. I had to get my grown man on because I know when we talk about real estate, everybody's an expert. And so no, people going to come for me. So I had to put my grown man on today. So, you know, if I had to get busy with somebody, I'm just going to have to get busy. But I want to qualify, I want to disclaim this entire conversation with, I am not a real estate expert, but what I do claim to be is an expert on studying. I know how to study. So I know how to study, and something else that I know how to do is I know how to interpret data. And so I'm going to share a lot of information with you today, and hopefully, you know, you feeling me. A lot of people think that I go a little bit overboard with my takes on real estate, but I think, you know, that my real estate takes are on point. I have a lot of experience in real estate, I have over 20 years in real estate. I bought my first property when I was 28 years old. I bought my first property cash. I've been through every aspect of the real estate game. I'm not a realtor. I'm not licensed, but I do study the market as an asset class. And so real estate has always been a part of, you know, my economic studies, and I've always had some real estate in my portfolio. I've done multiple deals in the double digits of deals of buying and selling real estate over the years. And so I know a little bit about real estate. I don't claim to know everything, but I know a little bit about real estate. So before I get busy and start to dig off into this discussion, we're going to talk about, should you be buying a home? And if you should be buying a home, what approach you want to take and some of the things you need to know, and who should be buying a house and how should they be buying it, and all of these things, and what advantages you can take advantage of. I'm going to see if I can give you some information to make your opportunities stronger. But before I do that, I want to holler at the good brother, Mark, 7 Mile Radio. Mark, the super producer.
Oh man, how you doing today, man?
Oh man, I'm feeling real good, man. I got this hat on. That's how I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to rock my hat and keep my, you know, my headphones right, you know.
Yeah, man, you look like you just came from somewhere, or you're going somewhere real important, brother. You know, that's what you're looking like right now, man.
You know, hey, you know what I like to think, good brother. I like to think I'm always going somewhere
there
important.
It is. That's what I'm saying. You look like you come from or going somewhere, either both, or a little bit of both.
You feel me?
Yep, that's what it is, man.
Yep.
Fresh off the podathon, though, man, I'm feeling real good, man. How did you like the setup out there, man?
Man, it was wonderful, man. I loved it. And it was a good vibe. Everything was a good time.
Yes.
And I mean, a lot of my people were there, you know, and then I met some new people. So it was a good time. I think that we worked really hard to support the vendors. I think some vendors made some money. I think some people learned some new things, and I also believe that some partnerships, some networking went down too.
Most definitely. It was a lot of, and that was the point of it. You know what I mean? That was the point of having all of the businesses out there, is for the whole business expo and business networking side of it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It wasn't about just a situation for 7 Mile Radio. Like, you know, we were included just like everybody else. You seen us out there with a tent, just like all of the vendors out there had tents. And, you know, the thing about it is, like I said, it was a networking event, business networking event, and like I said, a podcast marathon, which we will continue to do more of in the future, because we really set and ready to go for the next ones. Like, we got a lot of the kinks ironed out, a lot of the wrinkles ironed out, and now, you know, we all systems go on the outdoor podcast situation.
Absolutely. And And so, yeah, man, that was a good event. You know, I always judge events by how they make me feel, and it made me feel good to be there. So
Dig it.
that's it. It ain't really nothing else. You feel me?
Dig it. No problems. All of those black businesses and all of that money gathered in the same spot, circulating, and no problems, no issues, no nothing. Right.
And then it was so many businesses there that, you know, people that was like family, and so jam on it.
Right,
jam on it.
Sliders,
Like we raised our kids together at the same school. Dig it. So and also she supports our podcast a lot too. So that's my wife's friend.
Most definitely.
And then some people that we rock with didn't show up, but then the young lady that was selling the pasta, that was A1.
Yep.
All of the businesses were well developed and well marketed businesses. You can see the business culture in the city of Detroit increasing its value,
right,
and increasing its ability to be a business that creates a business-like environment. It's kind of hard to explain, but you can kind of see people stepping their game up in the city of Detroit.
Most definitely, and that's one of the things that inspired me to put an event like that together. You know what I mean? Sister, one person in particular, a good friend of mine, Sister Lisa Carter on Facebook, who's real well known with the pop-ups, man. I went to a couple of her pop-up events, and I was just so inspired just off of I told her I feel like I was in black business heaven.
Right, for sure.
It was almost like she got like 100+ vendors out there, all black businesses, different types, just selling merch and selling products and promoting services. And I'm like, man, like this is where I need to be, like every day. I want to be here every day. I wish this was in existence all the time so we can patronize this. So and she actually came to the event, and I'll actually be she invited me to her next pop-up, which is next Saturday at McKenzie, which will be probably about another 100 vendors, and we'll be streaming live from that as well. You should come out.
Okay, for sure. And so I got a birthday coming up in November, man, and I'm throwing a party.
Oh, see, and we need to set up the tent out there and do the live thing out there too, man, and interview your friends from, all of your friends and stuff.
Look, everybody who attends this party, they have no idea what's getting ready.
I know, and that's why I didn't want to say nothing too, because you told me a little bit of a blueprint. That's why I had to catch myself.
Right, exactly. Yeah. They have no idea on what they're gonna be a part of, man. But my entire goal for this is for the people who attended to have a good time, to enjoy celebrating my 48th birthday with me, because I will not be in this country on my 50th. So this is going to be the one. You feel me? I'm a fall back on the 49th and be chilling, and then on the 50th, the Most High willing, I won't be in the country. Right. But ultimately, at the end of the day, this is going to be something that I put on for the people. And this is going to be a thank you for the first 48 years of my life of everybody who has been instrumental. Okay. So that's kind of what that's going to look like. So it's going to be a good time, and this is one you will not want to miss. And
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. I got to stream this one live, man.
Absolutely.
I feel like I got to stream this one.
Yep, for sure. So what I'm going to say is let's get busy. And because I know some people still want to buy a home, and I want to talk about some things. And I know a lot of people think that I am anti-real estate. That's not accurate, or anti-real estate market right now. What I believe is that the real estate market is going through its natural cycle. But now what is making this cycle as it relates to real estate unnatural is the fact that the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell wants to intentionally crash this market. He is attempting to get a control over inflation, and that also includes the inflation in the real estate market, by raising interest rates, by raising the federal funds rate. He just recently raised it in this past FOMC meeting on September 25th to another 0.75 basis points. And so now the federal funds rate is somewhere around 3.25 to 3.50, and 3.25% to 3.50%, which has sent mortgage rates up to somewhere between 6.5% to 7%, which they are their highest that they have been in the last, I guess, maybe about 14 years. But I mean, compared to times in the past, a 7% interest rate on real estate is not that high. In the 80s, back in the 1980s, real estate was you were paying 17% interest on real estate. But what a lot of people don't understand is that the purchasing power of the dollar was much stronger in the 80s than it is now. So it all equals out. So when I hear a lot of realtors say, yeah, but this is still lower than it used to be, it's lower than it used to be, but our purchasing power of our dollar has decreased as well. So that kind of neutralizes the reality that a 7% interest rate is lower than a 14% interest rate from 1980. So, but it is still factually correct. So let's talk about, I need to lay the groundwork real quick. Let's talk about real estate as an asset class. Real estate is one asset class. Real estate is the largest asset class on the planet. It is larger than stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, all of that combined. There is an estimated 120 to 140 trillion dollars worth of real estate on the planet, right? 43 trillion of that is in China. Real estate is the most important asset class because all other things typically go because real estate goes. I'm not sure if you guys remember who Ray Kroc was, but Ray Kroc was the owner of McDonald's. And when Ray Kroc first built his business model, he built his business model selling franchises of McDonald's to franchisees. And his accountant came up with a very novel idea to get Ray Kroc to understand that if you really want to get rich in selling hamburgers, you really shouldn't be focused on hamburgers. You should really be focused on real estate. Own the land, lease them the property, let them own the franchise, but you own the land. So you still control the franchise. You see how that works? Yeah. So a lot of people, some people don't understand that real estate as an asset class is heavily connected to all things. And that's why it's very important that we understand real estate, not just what it'll do for us and we need to buy a house and live in a house, or we're a realtor and we need to sell houses. We need to make money. We need to make our 3% or make our 6%. But we need to understand real estate as an asset class in its totality and the relationship that it has with all other things on the planet. And I think that's very important. I think it's very important for us to understand that. So I'm going to go through about 10 or 12 ideas that are important. Idea number 1, we just talked about real estate as an asset class. Idea number 2, China's real estate market is connected to all other real estate markets all over the world. A lot of investors that have money invested in China's real estate market. If you're familiar with Evergrande that almost went under just recently, if Evergrande crashes, the real estate markets in a lot of different areas all over the world will go upside down because a lot of lenders have money invested in Evergrande. Evergrande is one of the largest real estate development companies in the world. And it's important for us to understand that all real estate and all asset classes are connected. When the Federal Reserve prints money, that money has to go somewhere. So there is a strong correlation between Jerome Powell saying we need to activate another round of quantitative easing and the real estate prices going up. But a lot of realtors don't really know this. Some know it, but a lot don't know it. A lot of realtors don't like how I speak in different realtor groups. They like to say I'm broke and I want the market to crash. It's not that I want the market to crash. I know that a market correction and a crash is inevitable because everything in America, if you understand asset classes, go in cycles. Do you actually think that the real estate market is just going to continue to go up? But here's the interesting thing. For every realtor who doesn't like what I say, and if you're on my live right now, pop in and say what's up so I'll know that you're here. For every realtor or every broker or every investor who doesn't like what I say, all you really have to do is understand the markets for yourself and you can take advantage of what I say. And what I'm saying is that there will be a market correction. I was saying this 6 months ago and they were saying I'm crazy, but here we are in the middle of a real estate market correction. Isn't it interesting how that works? And when I tell you that some of these people, they were talking about, I move $80 million worth of real estate a year, and I'm telling you that what you're saying is incorrect. You don't know what you're talking about. There will be no correction because there's more demand than it is supply. I'm thinking to myself, like, you clown. You're saying that because you need that to be true for you because that's what you want. Your hopes and dreams are based on selling houses. See, my hopes and dreams are not based on selling houses. But this is what I will say. To all my real estate people that I rock with every day, you can get money when the real estate market corrects. It shouldn't matter if a house is 10,000 or if that same house is 10 million. If it's 10,000, then that means you just need to sell 10,000 of those houses. If it's 10 million, that just means you need to sell one. What's the difference? There is no difference. You're going to get money regardless. So as a realtor and as a broker, what the real estate market is doing as it relates to fluctuating in the price of homes, that really should be of no consequence to you, to us. What is of consequence to us is, are we still making our percentage on every property sold? Because houses are going to sell all the time. You've never heard me say people are going to stop buying houses. I'm just telling you that there's going to be a market correction. And so I just talked to my realtor yesterday, the good brother, Kamal Cheeks, and he told me that the real estate market was so inflated going throughout the last 12 months that a lot of people who rushed into those purchases are going to either want to refinance those purchases or they're going to want to get out of them because they realize that they overbought, that they bought at too high of a price just a year ago. And so now they're doing an analysis of what they purchased and they realize that now they might be stuck. And I was saying that the real estate market was overbought then, but a lot of realtors were telling me, or overpriced then. And they were saying, no, if the price is up, the price is up. If you want to buy a house, you got to pay for it. But see, that's what the average realtor is going to say because they want to make sure.
Business of making money.
Exactly. They are realtors. And so they so emotionally involved in their own narrative that they refuse to look at it from the real perspective sometimes, not all, but some. And now, I love some of y'all. But some of them have came for me so aggressively that I thought that they wanted to fight or something. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm with that too. If you really, because I stand on what I say, I stand on my principles. But you were getting ready to say something.
Yeah, I was about to ask, man. So when you say the market is getting ready to correct itself, does that mean, in layman's terms, that houses will once again be at the value that they're supposed to be, not inflated? They're supposed to, is that what correction in the market means?
Well, a correction is typically 10 to 20%. But what we do need to understand is that everything corrects. Everything can be overbought. Everything can be overbought, oversold, and overpriced. Anything. Cars, houses, stock. Apple stock is overpriced. Tesla stock is overpriced. It's going to correct. Houses are no different.
So correct just means it's going to come down.
It's going to go back to... It's going to revert back closer to its historic trend line.
Okay, yeah, that's what I mean. Back to, the normal, whatever the normal price is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So number 3 point. What we need to understand about real estate is that the product isn't the house. The product is the loan. You see what I'm saying? The product is the loan. Banks use houses to loan you money. Banks are in the business of loaning money. That is how this world works. They make money off of loaning you money. They loan you money at a price, and they just use homes to do that. That's really the reason why Bank of America is jumping through hoops, trying to make black people pretend as if they're trying to do them a favor to promote equality in the housing market by giving them a zero down opportunity and then allowing them to come to the table with lower credit scores and so forth and so on. But in actuality, all they're really trying to do is use black bodies to continue to promote the product of lending. And a lot of people don't understand that. One realtor, a young lady, said, if you don't know nothing about Bank of America, if you ain't talked to no reps, you don't need to be speaking on this. You doing this and doing that. You disingenuous and all this and all that. And my response to that is, when the fuck have white corporate banks did anything for black people because they love them? So if you want to get aggressive and turn into a gorilla and go into a closed door room, I'm willing to go into a closed door room with the knowledge I have in my mind and tell you why Bank of America is full of shit, and while how I know that this is nothing but a stunted ploy in order to lure more black people who can't afford the loan in the first place to get into a loan where they can usurp some of your funds, then eventually take the house back in the long run. And so if you want to play that game like you think that if you want to play the game, I know more than you, I'm willing to lock myself in a room with just me and you, and we can do whatever we want, whatever you want to do as it relates to delivering information, as it relates to disseminating information about this particular topic or whatever else. But I know that you are emotionally locked into this process because it'll allow you to make money. Will some black people benefit from the Bank of America playing this game, the zero down and 600 credit score game? Are some people going to make some money? Yes. Will some black families benefit? But essentially what they're saying is you can come to the table with a subprime situation. These are ninja loans. What people don't understand is that they are really just reduplicating 2008, but they are pushing it in the form of black equality. So y'all can play this game with me if y'all want, man, but y'all need to ask yourself this question. When has white corporate America done anything for black people? When? In the history of black people being in America. So why would you think they would change their tune now? Some of y'all got to grow up, man, and keep it 100 with yourself. But you so locked into wanting to get money, so desperate, because I know how the real estate game is. The majority of realtors are not getting no money. Period. The majority of realtors are not getting no money. The majority of realtors are not getting money. And so they become desperate. They are emotional. And they are tuned into daily affirmations. I'm going to get rich. I'm going to make money. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. Yeah, all those things are fine and dandy. But if you really listen to what I'm saying, you can get money. Because there's money out here to get. But you just have to understand what the market is doing. And you have to stop listening to people who are thinking the same way you are thinking. And you need to listen to somebody who is standing outside of the housing market and looking at the asset class in totality with no dog in the fight. That's the person you really need to be talking to. I love my realtors that I rock with. I love the realtors that I just met. I love the way that they are talking. But some realtors are not really understanding what's happening. And so, Bank of America, get your money, realtors. Get your money. Some of these loans will pan out for black people, but the majority of them won't. The majority of them, and I'm just going to throw an arbitrary percentage out here, 85% of these loans will end up either putting a black person upside down in a home or end up they lose the home altogether. 15% will benefit. So as a group of people, this will hurt us more than it will help us. And I have more data to prove it, but I'm not on the Bank of America situation today. But if anybody wants to talk to me or want me to go live and me and you just debate one-on-one about Bank of America, let's get busy. She doesn't know you or what you know, and a lot of us is emotional and caught up in material things and white America. Exactly. So now let's talk about this next joint. 66% of mortgages are never paid off. That's a fact. The word mortgage is comes from the Greek and Latin root of two words: mort, meaning death, and gage, meaning pledge. So essentially it used to be a death pledge, meaning you used to have to pay your mortgage until you died. And that's why mortgages are so long. And now mortgages, with the restructuring of the forbearance program, now mortgages are up to 40 years, which is insane. But I'm going to talk about some positive things about mortgages. If you don't have a home and you need to buy a home, should you buy a home? Should you get a mortgage? There are some advantages to getting a mortgage. I don't endorse mortgages personally, but I respect people who understand how to purchase a home and leverage the opportunity and who can buy homes with equity in them. But one of the things I want to talk about real quick, is that the dollar, if you understand what's happening with the dollar is at the end of its life cycle. So if you were to get a mortgage right now, essentially what you would be doing is you would be shorting the dollar. And shorting the dollar is a good thing. And you can short the dollar using multiple asset classes. You can use precious metals to short the dollar. And essentially when you short an asset class, that means that you are looking for that asset class to fail. And you are taking that asset class and you are getting something else with it. So when it fails and you have to pay the money back for that particular asset class, when you have to pay back the money for that particular asset class, you will be paying the money back with cheaper dollars. So in this instance, we will be shorting the dollar using real estate. So I would get the mortgage now, and then in 5 years, I would go back and pay the mortgage off with dollars that don't have any value. And that's how you short the dollar. But in the interim, you would have to park those dollars in an asset class that is growing while the dollar is getting cheaper and cheaper, getting valueless and more valueless and more valueless. Then you turn around and you go back and say, I want to pay my mortgage off. So you take the asset class that you stored the dollars in, you cash that back in for dollars that are inflated, and you get this big pile of money, and you send that big pile of money to the mortgage lender, and you say, I'm paying off my house. So essentially you can pay your house off with $30,000 and you had a $200,000 mortgage. But you could pay your house off with $30,000 because you parked $30,000 worth of fiat currency in an asset class that blew up, and then you take that blown up version of the fiat currency and then you dump it into your mortgage and you pay your mortgage off. That's how you short the dollar. So I'm going to share with you some things that you must consider if you're going to purchase a home. So I'm not against purchasing a house. Some people need somewhere to stay. Some people are still investing. Some people know what they're doing. Some people getting money. I commend you. I applaud you. I am not against buying homes right now. It's just you have to make certain that if you're buying a home to live in, that you consider some things. The first thing you want to consider is that you purchased a home in a stable and affordable market that will protect your capital. Can the average local home buyer still afford homes in that area? So let's take San Francisco, for example. Can the average person in San Francisco that makes $120,000 a year buy a home in San Francisco right now? The answer is no. The average home in San Francisco is $1.4 million. It's overpriced, it's overblown. People can't afford to live there. So essentially, that is not a place that is an affordable market that will protect your capital. But what you must understand is not just about affordability. It's about affordability, stability, and growth. For example, Youngstown, Ohio, in the last 5 years have lost 10% of their job market. So the job growth and development in Youngstown, Ohio is going down. So you don't want to buy a house in Youngstown, Ohio just because it's affordable, because there's no growth there. So you're looking for growth, stability, and affordability. And those things are important. And so let's take Detroit, for example. Detroit is one of the best housing markets. Now, this is what I'll give realtors in Detroit. You are in one of the best markets because there are three types of markets. There are linear markets, there are hybrid markets, and then there are cyclical markets. LA is a cyclical market. Miami is a cyclical market. New York is a cyclical market. Tokyo is a cyclical market. China is a cyclical market. That means that their real estate prices go way up and then they come crashing down in cycles. There are small pockets of the city of Detroit that are cyclical, but for the most part, Detroit is a linear market. It just goes up and down briefly, up and down briefly. The advantage to realtors is that the market, or to investors, is that the market never really crashes that heavy all at one time. It'll go down and it'll correct, but it never really crashes. And so that's what puts the real estate market in Detroit at an advantage. So if you live in Detroit and you want to get a mortgage, you can. If I were you, I would consider, it's two things I would consider. I would buy one of these new refurbished homes that's about 80, 90,000 that are on the market that there's no competition for because lenders typically don't lend for those properties. I would also consider buying a rehabbed, beautiful 2-family flat in like the University Bagley district. And they might run 140,000. You rent one and then you live in one. But the interesting thing about those is that nobody really wants them, because when people spending 150,000, they want the privacy of it being a single family dwelling so they can raise their kids and live happily ever after and throw barbecues and be in love and be on their porch. And all of this emotional shit it be all involved in buying a house because they fallen in love with some fake ass dream. But in reality, if you take that same 140 and buy a 2-family flat in the University Bagley district on, say, Kentucky Street, that is completely rehabbed and beautiful and fenced in, you can control the narrative because you own the property. You can tell them the times that they can use the backyard. You can write that in the contract. You can tell them the times of the day that they can sit on the porch or the times of the day that the porch is available to them. You can do a whole bunch of things. But the most important thing is that you are buying a stable, affordable piece of property, and the other unit is paying off the mortgage. And so there are some non-conventional ways where you can still win in real estate, but you need to talk to somebody like me who is not all in love and not romanticizing real estate, where you can really make a smart, sound decision that is based on common sense and getting money and not getting somebody else some money. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of yous went and bought a $300,000 house in the University Bagley district for $298. And the house really only worth $198, and you already lost. You already lost. You living in it, you got a place to stay, but you already lost because you bought it for $298 competing, and it's only worth $198. And I know because I get a market report every morning for 48221 zip code. Come to my email where I read the market report in 48228. So I know who buying the houses. I know when the houses sold. I know the houses that are on the market. And I know the ones that have been on the market plus 60, plus 90 days because they're overpriced. I've seen $290,000 properties in the Bagley University District go off the market. So I'm not just talking. I'm looking at this stuff every day. I get a market report sent to my email every single day. Every single day for 48221 and 48219 specifically, because those are my two favorite markets in the city of Detroit. So I know when you overbought, and I know when you already upside down in these houses and you bought them because you were desperate and a realtor said this is the one and you believed it. They got paid, which is cool, and you now are underwater in a house that you had no business buying if you would have just been patient like I told y'all to 8 months ago. Everybody needs somewhere to live. I understand that. But it is an intelligent way to do this, and you must be patient. And you must start buying before you are actually ready, so you will start to understand the rhythms of the market. You must start shopping beforehand, so you'll understand the rhythms of how things are going. Okay? What else? I'll talk a little bit about fixed rate versus adjustable rate mortgages. Don't let them, when you refinance your house because your house is oversold, you paid too much for it, where you run back to the bank desperate and they give you a 228 teaser loan for 30 years and it's an adjustable rate mortgage that balloons at the end, and you so desperate you just sign the paperwork because the first 2 years of your loan is going to decrease the price of your monthly house note. You have to be intelligent. There are unfair lending practices that are associated with 90% of the lenders that you will go to. They practice unfair lending practices for people who are black and brown. Even if you have a 750 to 800 credit score, you have to understand that you are prey. And they are going to prey on you because they don't respect you. They don't respect your credit score because it's associated to your culture and skin color. And they don't believe that you are really well versed in lending, underwriting, and borrowing money and the cost of borrowing money in America. So they will try to cheat you and they will try to beat you. And so there'll be 10 black people who will watch this and say, that's not true because I have a 810 credit score and my home, I bought it for 3% and I got the best rate in town. And that's because you ran into the right lender at the right time and you did the right things. Kudos to you and congratulations. But by and large, the majority of people will not benefit from a loan such as you did. We need these loans to be fixed rate loans, and you need to make sure that you understand what they call the Fed box. The Fed box, in any lending scenario, the Fed box is a box that tells you how much you're buying it for, how much you put down, the interest rate, the term of the loan, the APR, how long you'll be paying the loan. And it's called the Fed box. It is a federally mandated box that must be on the front of the loan. Some of y'all are so in love with getting y'all keys. I got my keys. Got my keys. And y'all get 1,000 congratulations because you got your keys that you didn't even read the Fed box to understand what your interest rate was. Then you start going back through things and find out that it's a 228 teaser loan that's going to balloon toward the end, and you're going to end up losing the property. Somebody I know start going in about 7 months ago that they bought land. They're building a house, and I'm going to talk about building houses in a minute. They bought land. They built a house on it and built a pole barn on it. Somebody that I met, an acquaintance. And they thought that their mortgage for all of the building was going to be $1,100 a month. And as soon as Jerome Powell, in that FOC meeting on September 25th, raised the interest rates 0.75 basis point, his loan on that money went from $1,100 to $1,700. So just know and understand the lending practices and the system of lending. All right. Now I talked about linear. And I'm going to talk about the importance of buying land and why it's important to buy land and how you can build your house slow on your own land in another state, as opposed to dealing with the red tape and the rigmarole in the city of Detroit, where they practice cronyism and they don't even permit building homes here in the city of Detroit for most people, because they're trying to control that market for some reason that I haven't researched and been able to come across the information. But I'm going to find out and I'm going to figure it out. And trust me, when I figure it out, I'm going to bring that information back to you. But there's a lot of cronyism, and I'm going to talk about why realtors and brokers need to unionize and come together, and for one thing and one thing only, that's the most important thing: the ability to build on lots in the city of Detroit. Y'all need to go after the old boy that is the administrative leader of the city of Detroit. He ain't my mayor. He ain't nothing to me. He means nothing to me. I have no respect. I don't see him as a leader. I don't see him as a mayor. He just means nothing to me. He just don't exist in my world. But for all of y'all who, know him and things and like do business with him, I know that some people may have access, but the real true thing is that it's important to unionize, or not necessarily unionize, but organize and force him to allow builders and contractors. He needs to cut through the foolishness. And if you own the land that you stand on, you should be able to build a home on it. And as long as it meets the criteria of the building and safety and inspections in the city of Detroit, and you do everything correctly, you should be able to build on your land in the city of Detroit that you own, your lot, without any impediments. You should be able to get a home permit, and it should be easy. But it's not easy, because you have to remember, there's only so much real estate in the world. And a lot of this real estate is just being recycled because there's no home permits being granted. I almost bought the same house twice. That's how recycled the real estate is. So the last thing that I want to talk about is, the last few things I want to talk about is what they call mortgage-backed securities. If you remember earlier, I just told you guys that they don't sell you, the house is not the product. The product is the loan. And they want to sell loans, so they use houses to sell loans. As soon as your loan is finalized, and people are going to say, yeah, they're not going to take these loans and do this and do that. They tell y'all anything and y'all believe it. Let me tell you something what they do with these loans. With your auto loans, with your credit card loans, and with your housing loans. They take them and they package them up into a package, and it's called a mortgage-backed security. Essentially, it becomes like a stock. And wealthy people will invest in your loan. So they buy your loans. They'll either sell your loan to a
debt collector.
They'll sell loans to a debt collector. But before it even gets to a default scenario, they'll package your loan up, and they'll package it in what they call a mortgage-backed security. Securities are investment vehicles, and a mortgage-backed security is something where a mortgage backs it. So it's a security that is backed by a mortgage. So a mortgage is attached to a house. So their thought process is, if they living in the house, they going to pay their mortgage. And so I can buy this mortgage-backed security because I know they're going to keep paying their loan they're going to keep paying their mortgage on the house. And if I buy the mortgage-backed security, I can make profits off of the interest that they're paying every month on their loan. So a mortgage-backed security is essentially a stock, right? Here's the interesting thing about mortgage-backed securities, though, that a lot of people don't know, even smart-ass people who've been in real estate for 50 years. Do you know that mortgage-backed securities are hedged in the real estate market and hedged on Wall Street by what they call a credit default swap? A credit default swap is an insurance claim with companies like AIG, where they will purchase insurance because they know that the people who get these Bank of America loans are going to not pay the loans. So they'll get the mortgage-backed security, then they'll get insurance on it because they know that eventually you're going to default on your loan.
So
And it's called a credit default swap. So they are covering their bases and hedging their bets.
So they're making money off the loan, and then they're making money off the fact that you're not paying the loan back.
Exactly. So they already know that you're not going to pay the loan back. That's why they buy credit default swaps. It is a credit default instrument. You're going to default on the credit, and they are going to make money when you don't pay your mortgage. You don't know this because you don't study what I study, and that is okay. That is why I'm telling you it right now. Realtors, mortgage lenders, learn this shit. Learn what a mortgage-backed security is so you can better serve your clients. Stop coming for me on black real estate investors as if you know everything about real estate because you sold 150 houses in your career and because you have $200,000 in the bank and you are well off. That don't mean shit. It just means you made a lot of money off people who didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And that's okay too. But let's keep it 100. Learn what a mortgage-backed security is. Learn why lenders lend money for homes and learn how they hedge their bet because they know you're not going to pay the loan back. The Bank of America, by lending these black people this money for zero down, they've already created credit default instruments for all of the people who are not going to pay the loan back. They've already insured it. They're losing nothing. And when you don't pay the bill, they take the house back and they get to collect on the interest of the money from the credit default swaps. They are activating this process to give black people fake help because they are going to make money off of it in 3 different ways on the back end when you default. Y'all talking to the wrong one. You know I'm posting this in Black Real Estate Group because y'all won't even comment on my posts anymore because y'all trying to disassociate from what you believe to be what I'm saying to be something where I'm coming for you and your asset class. And it's not even like that. Just learn the shit and use it to leverage to your advantage and get more money. That's all you have to do. Every single thing I say, you replay it and go research it on your own. Because I'm not going to say nothing that come out of my mouth and I don't know what I'm talking about. Because I refuse to open my mouth unless I know what I'm talking about. Number 10. Do everything in your power to buy your home cash if you're buying a home to live in. Try to buy it cash. If you have $20,000 for a down payment, then save up $40,000. Buy a house that needs to be rehabbed. Rehab it over a 1 or 2 year. Rehab it over a 1 or 2 year period, and then try to own your house cash. Buy a $10,000 house from the land bank. Buy a $10,000 house from the Wayne County tax foreclosure auction. Do everything in your power to buy your home cash and avoid a mortgage if you can. I didn't say don't get a mortgage. I didn't say that mortgages is bad. I'm saying if you can control it, try to buy your home cash. It will create peace of mind. You will eliminate your largest monthly debt obligation. You will be able to travel the world. You can get a car note if you want to. You will have discretionary income. It will change the trajectory of your life. I guarantee it. And the last thing, to contractors, builders, and homeowners, if you're going to build a home, try to buy as much of your material ahead of time. Material costs are going to be going up soon. There will be supply chain shortages. So if you have a warehouse and you are a builder, buy a lot of your 2x4s, your plywood, your framing, your cement. Buy a lot of that stuff ahead of time and store it. You're going to need it. You're going to use it anyway. Buy it ahead of time. That's all I have for today. I hope you guys benefit from this. Yeah, I get angry. Yeah, I get emotional because so many people reject the knowledge that they need to be better. I'm not on here wasting my time just running my mouth just to pretend like I'm a talking head that know things. I'm trying to change the trajectory of the lives of the people that I care about. I'm trying to give you information to win. I'm trying to love on y'all, and I want everybody to win. I want the realtors to win. I want the brokers to win. But I want you to win in a way that helps our people as well. And I want our people to win. So know that these lenders are not your friend. The network should be lender, black broker, black home buyer, black developer, black builder. You come together as a team and you talk about all of these impediments and all these issues and challenges, and you work best together to build up opportunities for each other. I'm going to leave it at this. The reason why I even started studying macroeconomics over the last half of a decade is because I called a builder and I said, I want you to build me a house. And he said, you're going to live in it? I said, no. I want to build this house because I want to just build a house because I want to learn how to build a house. And I'm going to sell it or I'm going to rent it out, but I want to go through the process of building the house because I want to see everything that goes into it. So help me build a house. You the builder, you're the contractor. I got the money. I want to get one of those fabricated homes. Let's erect it. Let's get busy. He said, you don't want to do that. He said, go study the macroeconomics and the real estate market. Go study everything. Go study the life cycle of the dollar and then come back and let's talk. We talked on the phone for 3 hours. I talked to that man one other time. He changed the trajectory of my life. A man that I had never met before in my life gave me information and led me down a trail to get information that changed my life forever. Not only did it change my life forever, it's the reason why I became a prepper. It's the reason why I have things that other people will not have. And it's the reason why I've positioned my family to win. Last thing I'm going to tell you, be open to new information. Think about buying a house. Think about buying an acre of land in the South. What's going on with you, Vince? Think about buying a house in the South. Think about buying a house in another state and building on that land where the home permit restrictions are relaxed. Think outside the box. If you buy a property and you build your home on the land, you can build your house as slow as possible as you get the money. You don't have to rush. You don't have to run and jump in a house that's overpriced. Don't let people make you think that this process got to go now. You talking about one of the most important business decisions you're going to make in your life, where you going to live. Don't let somebody rush you into doing some shit in 2 weeks. Sometimes it takes up to a year. Take your time and do it right, so your house will have value in it. Remember, you're looking for stability, affordability. You want your capital to be protected, and you want growth in that area. Be smart. This is all I got today on 7 Mile Radio. I hope everybody can benefit from this. Vince, you need to watch this one from the beginning. Hold on. What did Toy Lynn say? Oh no, I read that comment already. She doesn't know you or what you know. And a lot of us is so emotional and caught it. Yeah, we read that already. But yeah, sis, that's how that go. But I welcome everybody who came and watched this. Yeah, you know I get emotional a little bit because I want my people to win. And I'm not going to play games with nobody misinforming my people because they want to take advantage of opportunities because they don't understand the real opportunities that they should be taking advantage of. It's all love with realtors. But if you come for me, I'm going to address what I believe to not be true. Let's work together and let's really peel back the layers of the information so you can really get money. There will be a correction and there's an opportunity to get money there, and let's get money, period.
Speaking on peeling back the layers, right? You said something that piqued my interest early in regards to Bank of America. Now, I've heard different things about them as far as their discriminatory practices and, just redlining and not giving black people the opportunities that they give others. But I would like for, if you would, one of the shows to expound as deep as you care to on what is the issue with Bank of America in our community as far as their services and what they
absolutely
provide.
Well, not just Bank of America, Wells Fargo. There's a few. We're gonna do some research and we're gonna post some stuff up on the screen so people will know who they doing business with.
Dig that.
Yep. So, hey, this was another episode of Revolutionary Wealth Builders on 7 Mile Radio. Peace and love. I hope that this was of value to some people. To all my contractors, to all my builders, buy some of your supplies ahead of time and store them if you have a warehouse. Thank me later. We'll get with y'all next Thursday at 11 a.m. And you'll be able to watch this on YouTube, on Revolutionary, on 7 Mile Radio. Like, share, and subscribe over on Revolutionary Wealth Builders on YouTube. And then you'll be able to see this on my page, Emmett Black RWB. Emmett BLAC RWB on Facebook. Peace, and we'll get up with y'all on the next one.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
Production.